Action.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Hot Dogs Down a Hallway, episode 2. How's everyone doing today?
Oh, lovely. It's a lovely day
Lovely?
here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right, we're going to talk about only in Clifton. Mick Cronin, UCLA. What do you guys think? What was his contract? 4-year, $24 million, or
Sucks.
$6 million a year?
Sucks, but the right move.
$6 million
I
a
mean,
year.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
Last year, you all said no, though.
He's got to
I know,
rebuild
but
another program.
Think about it.
That's what I said last week. You're like, no, he shouldn't go to UCLA.
Well, at the same time,
we own them.
He spent 13 years here, and this is his alma mater. Like, all of his connections are here. So, I mean, if you're looking at it from that perspective, you're going to...
UCLA is a bigger program.
To LA.
Well, no, after the fact, yeah, for sure. We're
Live
just
in
saying,
LA,
last
bro.
week,
He'll be back. He'll be back.
he
I don't
probably
think he's
will.
coming
Once
back.
Cincinnati
No.
goes down the
Once
drain
he's
for the
gone.
next 4
No.
years, he'll come back.
Nick Van Exel, former Cincinnati
Bring him.
player in the
Bring
90s.
Yeah.
Do you want him, Nick?
Who?
Nick Van Exel.
The Memphis guy.
Why don't you want him?
I want somebody with college basketball
I want to
experience.
stick with college basketball.
Coach K, I would say, is best fit probably.
Leading
to cover
candidate.
that.
He's not a good coach, though.
Not a good
Should we
coach.
talk about that for a
Not good
second?
coach.
No,
Sean
we
said he's not a good
Talked
coach.
about that.
Good recruiter.
Good recruiter, not a good coach.
Well, we do need recruiting currently.
That Virginia game was great too. I think all the Final Four games and the championship were
It
fantastic.
saved the tournament
Great
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Good
Because there's
basketball.
like no buzzer beater. Well, at the end there was buzzer beater.
Yeah, Elite Eight games are great too.
Let's
But
talk about how much money Sean lost in the championship game.
we can talk about that too.
$25.
$25.
Talk about your bets. What'd you bet on?
Well, I bet that.
Sean's
Wait, did I
freezing
win
cold
any bet?
takes.
No, I did win some money
On what?
because I won
You won
the.
$9.
First half.
I won one bet where if Texas Tech scored over 58.5, so I got that one
Yeah,
right.
mute your computer.
And then I got 2 wrong that were under. Or if Texas Tech won by 1 or 2, I got that one wrong. Or Texas Tech wins by 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I got, what was the last one?
Texas Tech
It was the halftime score.
Texas
Yeah.
Tech leading at half by, or tied.
Put all
or-
your marbles
tied
Were they
or
down by
leading
3 at half?
And they lost.
They hit a
Virginia hit a 3 at
Yeah.
the end of half. So.
Typical
That was
Sean.
funny.
Yep. So actually, I didn't lose 25. I lost 22. But it's not worth sending a check to my house for $3. So I
just
technically
bet it
lost
again.
25.
That's how they get you. You just bet the money again.
Yeah.
All right, we got Masters this week as well.
It's
Tiger,
Starts tomorrow.
Tiger season.
You think
Tiger
Tiger's gonna
season.
win?
I'm open.
You getting any Masters pools?
No.
No.
I didn't really, but
I don't think that's something I would put money on.
I don't know
But
enough
I
about
will
it.
be tuning in class.
Oh,
I'll
too.
definitely be watching it. But
Matt Kuchar's gonna win it all. That's all I gotta
That's
say.
so
Kuchar's old.
Matt Kuchar's the
Kuchar's
goat.
old.
I'm just
He's
watching
same
for
age as Tiger.
Yeah.
Tiger's old too. He's not gonna win.
Yeah, I
How do
want
you
him
know?
to win.
Tiger still has a lot. Tiger still has some.
Tiger
left in the tank.
does good in every Masters. He's like
Yeah.
minus 33 compared to like plus 59 when in
Yeah.
like non-Masters.
He's the goat, so I wouldn't expect him to not play well in the Masters. He might not have many left in him.
Give me Jim Furyk.
I love Jim Furyk.
Give me
Jim Furyk.
Phil Mickelson all the way.
Oh, it's gonna be some European dude that wins again.
European.
Justin Thomas. Easy.
Not
dubs.
a fan.
Sergio
Not a
Garcia.
fan.
How could you?
Rory
After he got
McIlroy.
snubbed
No way. Rory's
fucking
fine.
for the FedEx Cup
I
last
don't know, I
year by
just know
Justin
that.
Rose.
But
Justin Rose is good.
Jason Day.
Justin
might make
Rose
a run.
played great.
He
played
has a
great
chance
with-
to win it too. The long shot they say is Hideki Matsuyama. You guys ever heard of
That
him?
guy's. not
Jason
European.
Day might
He's
make
German.
a
It's
run.
not Europe. I didn't say he was European.
Swing your swing.
I think he's American.
Who's the number 1 golfer right
Maybe.
now?
Dustin, I think.
Yeah,
Dustin has the 10-1 odds to win it all.
I'd take
The
Jason
Masters.
Day.
I don't think
Big
he's
Still going Tiger. Tiger in
Tiger
3.
to Dublin,
Tiger.
Tiger in 3 rounds.
Westville. All right. Let's get into it.
Jason Day.
Let's get into it. So today our main focus is going to be conspiracy theories. So we each have our own conspiracy theory. We're going to talk about it, then we'll give our 2 cents and talk about the conspiracy theory. We're going to talk about Sean, because Sean has a couple. Talk about Sean's.
So the first one is just kind of like general discussion on aliens and if aliens exist, and then if they do, does Area 51 have like aliens
So,
stored?
Did you look up any
there, I
facts?
guess?
Like, what did you look up anything about like the facts that there's aliens in Area 51?
I mean,
or like
there's no
like
facts, but
not like facts. We know what I mean. Like
people claim they've seen. There's been however many UFO spottings over all the years. There's been however many like.
Yeah, but
Random
UFO,
cattle
UFO
died.
could be anything, don't you think?
It's just
flying saucer.
Yeah, it
But
could be anything. It
if
could be a
there's-
Russian plane. It could be anything.
Well, 100%. But at the same time,
Still
like,
unidentified.
It's
It's
the
unidentified for sure, but how do you know it's from a different
we don't know that.
planet?
You don't know that. That's the whole fun behind it, is seeing, I feel like aliens exist.
I strongly
agree.
disagree.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Why do you-
not on
Somewhere
planet
there's
Earth.
other
Not on
life
Earth.
forms. I don't know if they're
There's
like
other, yeah.
capable of communicating or
Not
like
maybe
the way
not with
humans
us,
do.
but
The way
yeah.
humans
Or
do
maybe they
or
live-
other mammals.
Upon us right now.
Aliens.
I think we have aliens in Area 51.
No one knows what do you think an alien looks like?
It can
There's-
look like fucking anything.
People just made up what aliens look like.
You
so we
remember
have no
that
clue what
whole-
they actually look like.
You remember that whole Malaysia plane?
That
was fucking weird.
They found
That is
all.
weird.
They found one of them. Right? There was two that went missing. They found one.
No, there was
They were
one
like,
plane.
off the coast
They
of
found
India. or
they
something.
found a
That one.
part of the.
They just found a
needed
part of
one.
it. That's
They just
it.
found
Yeah.
a part.
It's got to be in the bottom of the ocean somewhere.
It is. It's
it's
probably.
impossible to check the whole.
But
It's probably completely destroyed.
That's another
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
I
a
mean,
little
going
off
at
topic.
300, 400 miles an
Straight
hour.
into the water.
Like,
Yeah.
That plane's destroyed.
it's another thing.
Well, they said like they thought like at first like someone hijacked the plane and took it to like Iran in like a hangar or something, and they planned to use it for like a terrorist attack. But once they found the piece of it in the ocean, they knew that was
No, the dude, the pilot wanted to kill them all or something like that. The pilot was so like insane.
really. I did not see that.
The latest thing
You
is
like that?
The latest thing.
That's horrible.
I just that
Because
like
he turned off autopilot
Yeah.
and just completely went off track and flew until the plane
no
stopped
black
flying.
box, nothing.
So
So
let's just stop flying.
what was your other conspiracy theory, Sean?
Global warming. And
All right, let's get
if
into
it
that.
Exists
/
or not.
climate change.
PC
here.
Personal opinion, I think that global warming, it doesn't really exist in the way that most people think, if you're going to decide if it exists or not. Like, I think humans do have an effect on climate change. Like, we speed up the process a little bit, but the Earth has a, if you look at the history of the planet, like every 10,000 years there's an ice age or whatever, and I don't think that humans are messing with that to the point where it's like, oh, the next ice age is going to be here in 100 years. I don't think,
It's
I
that
think
quick.
I think global warming is just made up. Personally,
What do you think, Justin?
I know nothing
Wow,
about
put me
that.
on the spot. Put me on the spot. Regardless of whether or not it's actually real, I think like it's worth taking the measure, like to at least slow down whatever we might be doing.
It's proven we've had an effect on a negative effect.
Like
on
in
Oh,
the
yeah,
last
100%.
30 years, like there's climate numbers, whether they're fudged or
It's like even if it's real or
Alright.
not, why take the risk of like causing
Yeah.
something?
But I don't agree with people who say we should get rid of all fossil fuels.
No,
Because there's a lot of like politicians that say we should get rid of all fossil fuels and go completely green, which is never going to work for now.
I think we just need to take more efforts to
Yeah.
limit the effects.
And be more
rather than-
green, like
it's
in
general.
different
I
things.
mean, we're
It's hard, though.
already using less coal and like stuff like that.
We took
than
money-
did 50 years
I
ago.
mean, if we
It's
took
just-
money from
it's gradual.
other stuff where we're putting money into like the military, we put so much money into the military. If we took a chunk of that and put it towards research of how to break down stuff better, like
yes,
Yeah.
fund the
Us-
military,
yeah,
fund
no.
Luke Woods.
Fund the military,
His-
fund my scholarship,
scholarships.
please.
No more
Scholarship.
scholarship.
Not for next semester.
Donations.
We won't get into that.
LukeWoods.GoFundMe. I agree with that. I think that it's not as bad as people say it is, but it's scientifically proven that there is like climate change. I just don't think it's as man-made. I think a lot of it's natural, like Sean said. A lot of it's natural that just happens with the Earth, but the humans do speed up the process of global warming or
I mean, it's-
climate change.
I don't, the part that like if
Ugh.
you really look into it, it's
Bless
hard
me.
to figure out. Like
Bless you.
there's facts that prove both sides correct, and there's also like people who fudge the numbers, like Justin said. So with all of those things, like it's almost impossible to tell what's right and what's not.
The one
So-
thing I do have to say about it is, like, whenever I'm driving towards Columbus from my house, like when I see the Columbus skyline, I can see like a haze around it.
Oh,
So like
it's light pollution.
Yeah.
that has to have some sort of effect on.
Oh, it does. Like when you go to like when we were at this park by Cincinnati, and you look up and you can't even really see stars because there's so much light pollution. But like when I was in Maine, Sean's been to Maine. When you look up, it's completely clear because there's no light pollution.
It just kills the ozone layer, which
Yeah.
lets like more sun in, which
Yeah.
warms it up. So
Yeah.
it's 100% us.
That's a
Alright,
big
alright.
piece of it.
Let's go into mine.
Alright.
So, what I've been looking at lately is the NBA and the draft lottery. So, I was reading up actually today. In 1985, the first draft lottery was like brought into effect, and a lot of people out there seem to think that it was like messed with. It was what's the word? What is the word?
Corrupt.
Corrupt. Yeah, sure. So, 1985, Patrick Ewing picked by the Knicks with the first pick in the draft. But what they're saying is that David Stern was in on a plan to get the Knicks the first pick in the draft with a frozen envelope. And so apparently, like, there was a way for him to know that it was their envelope to get the first pick. And oh yeah, there's plenty of sources. I went through the.
No, I just want to see if. All right, keep going.
Okay, so anyway, what I'm thinking is, I think it's entirely possible, and I think it's all money driven.
So you think the Knicks paid off? They gave him like $1 million, whatever you think it is.
Something. I mean, because think of what Ewing gained them. Like, definitely worth it if they.
It's like $1 million, or just paid this NBA off to get him the number 1 pick.
Right, and so.
Or give them a certain percentage of what profits made off of Ewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
And-
they made it. Sorry to interrupt, but they made it to however many like conference championships with him. So I mean, that
That's a shit ton of
probably
money.
was worth it.
Yeah, look here's
Yeah.
the video. So he reaches in and he kind of shuffles around, and then he kind of takes a deep breath as if he's like nervous to do whatever the hell he's about to do. So there's the 14 envelopes in there. That's good.
So do you think? So a lot of people think that it was rigged towards the Cavs because after LeBron left, wasn't it both times?
They got
Yeah.
2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, you got the
Yeah.
number 1 pick, and people are like, "Oh, that's makeup for LeBron leaving."
One, I think that's
Well, people can say
definitely.
that. People just hate Cleveland in general.
Oh yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think the Cavs are the best odds the second year, right, of winning the
But
lottery.
No, we were still probably fourth.
I think they were
where-
second or third. I thought
Yeah,
it was
we were
Well, they
still higher
changed.
than that.
They changed the
but
odds
where,
now.
where the flaw came in was that 4th pick. That 4th pick was supposed to be like the 12th pick
Yeah.
when
Really?
we got Tristan. Tristan Thompson, stud, 7-some, stud. Let's talk about that. Stud, legend,
That's
Hall of Fame.
respectable, 100%.
Hall of Fame,
100%.
7-some. Sean, you ever have 7-some?
I would put myself in his shoes for a day.
Okay,
I would be
you have
like
the
that.
opportunity to have a 7-some. You doing it?
What did we do? I decided this before. It was like, if I have my situation I'm with now,
And with
no,
your
but if
but your girlfriend's involved. I thought you
Yeah,
said
if your
you'd do it.
girlfriend's involved.
She's in the 7th.
no, that was a different
She's
conversation.
consenting to the seven.
No, I would. No, I don't think I would.
That's a
You
lot.
wouldn't, even if she's involved.
No.
Justin? Yeah, I think we could all agree. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean.
Wait. Well, how about this? If the Cavs get the first pick this year, do you think it's rigged?
No.
The year after
No,
LeBron
absolutely
left?
not.
I think
No.
it should be the Cavs or the Knicks.
Knicks, yeah.
Easy.
I just
Easy.
don't want the
One
Suns
of
to
the-
get it.
The Suns they've been tanking for so many years now.
Yeah.
Like they're
If
Philly
they
get
all
Ja-
over.
they'll
want
get
to
Ja
fully
Morant.
tank, they need to trade Debo.
Yeah, they're Philly all over. Again.
If they get John Morant though, and then they have John Morant, Booker, and who else?
Who do you
they
think
have?
top 3 are?
DeAndre Ayton.
Ayton.
Yeah, Ayton.
Who do you think top 3
That's
are?
solid.
Jamal Crawford.
It's
In the
gonna be.
as a
It's gonna be
53-year-old.
Knicks, Suns, Cavs, Bulls.
So you say
No.
picks.
People.
People.
Oh,
Zion.
Zion, RJ.
Zion, Ja, then RJ, and then probably. They said Culver might go top 5 for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
To the
no way.
Bulls.
Yeah.
No
That's what
way,
they
he
said.
blew that game.
Yeah, the last 3 minutes of the game he played like
He's
ass.
not a scorer.
Played
He's
like
well,
absolute-
he is a
He is
scorer.
a
He's
scorer.
not a
He's
shooter.
scorer.
Not a
Average like
shooter.
18.
There's worries about RJ Barrett too. The Cavs. They said he doesn't like to play defense. His shot's not all there. But they said he's gonna be a dominant
Cavs are
scorer.
getting Zion.
He creates.
Eventually, they're going to get LeBron James Jr. and LeBron's coming back. And it's domination.
I think.
LeBron's
I
Zion-
know
like
there was
I
an
think Zion
interview.
goes.
Doesn't
into-
matter.
There was an interview with LeBron, and they're like, "Is your dream to play with your son?" And he's like, "Yeah, with my son in the NBA or against him."
Oh, guess what else I
I'll
saw
probably
the
have
other day? Anthony Davis wore a shirt that basically said,
Yeah, he's
"I'm done here" or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
where
it
do you
said
think
that.
he's
No,
going?
it said that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where do you think he's going? You think he's going to LA or New York?
So back on topic.
So,
Kyrie to New York.
Back on topic.
Kyrie and
Justin,
KD.
Justin, do you think all sports are corrupt?
To a degree.
I mean,
Soccer.
not in the sense that they're rigged, like you can make one person win, but like you could throw things, and there's definitely money behind things, like with betting and shit like that. So overall, I'd say yeah.
I don't know.
I think a lot
Shaving
of shit's
points?
corrupt with Vegas.
Yeah.
There's no way Vegas.
They're
is
that
this
close.
Fucking good at.
Vegas.
Yeah, they are so good.
No, that's all stats. I don't think they're corrupt.
They're
No
so close on
way.
everything.
I
dude.
mean, they predict fucking
Because you know
blowouts.
how much, like, do you know how much they pay those guys, like, to do all that
Still,
stats and
though,
all
no.
that research? Like,
It's, not,
Okay.
it's eerie how
analytics.
close they are in every single
You know
thing.
who's
It's very
accurate on
eerie.
fucking
Like,
everything?
they're like 4.5 points, and the game will end at 4 points.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking
They do their
crazy.
research.
And it's consistent.
they have a lot of people that spend a lot of time looking at all that.
I think there's something fishy.
Hey, how the
Vegas
fuck
in
did the
sports.
Simpsons start predicting all their shit?
That's just wild.
That's crazy too.
Yeah.
It's rigged, man.
It's broad, though. The Simpsons is broad.
Not really. I mean, have you seen the video of Donald Trump going up an escalator with the same, like, lady in the background? In real life and in the episode.
They're the exact same person, actually.
Yeah.
It's like exactly.
Like the girl was
they're
yelling
literally-
in real life.
everyone else is
Yeah.
cartoon, and she's, like, real in the cartoon. It's crazy.
All right,
Shut
so
up,
do I
Sean.
get into 9/11?
Shut up.
9/11.
Well,
So I'm gonna start.
Juicy.
I have a lot of information. I might take a little bit for this, but there's a lot to talk about. So this is the first stupid theory, but like it's kind of comical that people think it's true. Some people think the Jews did it. They think the Jews did 9/11.
Why not?
They think
Honestly.
Do you guys know what Zionism is?
These
Not
poor
Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
It's a Jewish like.
Transformation of the
poor
Cavaliers.
It's a It's the development and protection of a Jewish nation in what is now Israel. So it's like a basically like a
Bro,
not
why,
political
does that,
belief.
why are they the scapegoat
Haven't we
for
been
everything?
Exactly.
Every
So people
major-
think it was the Jews because supposedly 4,000 Jews called off work the day of 9/11.
Really?
But to refute that, police sergeant who's Jewish, whose son's Jewish obviously, was in the World Trade Center and he died. And he was like, and he said, "Give me the names."
We're
He said, "Give me the
shooting.
Who
names
is
of those-"
it?
Joseph.
Get out!
No.
Hey, we're shooting the podcast.
Okay, I didn't know, chill.
It's okay.
God. Idiot!
And he's like, "Give me the names of all those people that didn't show up to work because my son never got the message to not show up to work that day." So that's just like a stupid one, but there's a bunch of anti.
Somebody had to take one for the team.
What?
Somebody had to take one for the team.
Shut up, Luke. That's awful.
That's a great camera.
I'm just saying.
Damn you.
So we'll start with Pentagon.
Hey,
So they
Fuck
said
off.
the holes in the Pentagon, it wasn't like like when the plane crashed in the Pentagon, they said the hole like in the Pentagon was not wide enough that would fit the plane. It was only about 60 feet wide, and the wings on the plane would reach to 125 feet wide.
Well, what if they detach the wings?
They
Sorry,
said
I
no,
shouldn't say
no.
stupid
They
stuff.
said
Go ahead.
no. They said
That's a punch! That's a punch, Luke!
No, it's not a
That's a
fucking
punch.
That's not.
I
They,
apologize.
so they said that the wings fell off before it hit the building,
Fell off where?
like just fell off the plane somehow. That's what the 9/11 Commission
little
said.
On impact.
There's a little midget.
No,
on
if
there.
it went on
That's all.
impact, you would see the impact of the
Hey,
things,
that's
but it
not
was only a
funny.
straight up and down hole.
No,
I mean,
no, I
They
remember
could
reading
collapse.
about
They could collapse.
Yeah, they
No,
said it might
on
collapse.
impact, if you hit the fucking building, the nose is how many feet in front of the wings, right? Those wings are gonna
That's
snap.
If they did snap,
mean,
Got a
that's
point.
true.
Did
That's
they
the
find
point.
the wings?
because it could have stopped
Like,
before the wings
That's
even
another
hit
thing.
the building.
Supposedly there was no luggage or bodies found,
Yeah.
and there was only just one large piece of the plane of the debris, nothing else.
It was the midget Jews.
They just
So
made-
I don't know why
plane
there's
the
no
shape of-
luggage or
That might be
anything
a
found.
punch. That might be a punch.
Yeah, that's a punch. Luke, that's a punch.
punch. What?
I don't like this part.
Who's
That's
Yeah.
Zoe Puncher.
That's
Zoe
Zoe,
punch
punch
him.
him.
No,
Right in
you
the
gotta
gut,
stand
stand
up.
up.
You
Yeah,
gotta stand up and
I
take
think
it in
it's
the
gotta
gut.
be
No, Luke didn't even punch Sean.
I think it's gotta be Luke.
No, let Zoe punch.
No, she'll actually punch.
Because
I'm
if
not-
Zoe actually punches, like,
I'm not manly enough.
it'll hurt a little bit.
All right.
You just didn't hurt it all.
Okay.
All right, continue.
Because
So-
I didn't want to
A
do
bunch
it.
of people. There was one woman who worked in the Pentagon and said, "I saw no plane. Like I went out and there's no there was no debris, nothing of any
So
plane
were the bombs
anywhere."
and shit in the Pentagon
They think
too?
it could have been like a missile. Like a missile went in and blew it up. And a bunch of other workers, like higher up guys, were like, "We saw the plane hit. Like we witnessed it." And then the 9/11 Commission report came out and said the plane was moving so fast no one could have seen it. It would just been a blur when it crashed into
That's
the building.
bullshit.
So
No way. You see a plane moving. You'd see
You ever
a
been
plane.
at the airport and seen it taken off?
I'm just that's what they said in the 9/11 Commission.
Well, I mean, it could have been. I mean, if
Full speed went in the building, and they said it was a blur, so no one could have seen the plane crashing in the building. Refuting eyewitness testimony that they saw the plane going in the building. So
They hijacked the plane.
So what do you believe? You think there were bombs in planes?
No, I think that a missile, like, I don't think, but that's what a lot of people think is that it was a missile, not bombs inside, but like a missile came in from like a drone strike and hit the Pentagon.
You think
Because
it was
I don't
our
know why
drones?
there's only one debris of plane found on the side.
Do you think it was American drones that fired the
No one
missile?
knows.
Bush?
Could have been an inside job. People protested it, and now let's get to the World Trade. No,
Wait.
let's go to the Pennsylvania field.
We paused.
What? Yeah.
My laundry stuff.
Oh my god.
I did
No,
tell
we're
you
not
it was gonna
pausing.
happen.
We'll just
We're
keep
not
going. We'll
pausing.
just keep going.
Alright.
So the one in Pennsylvania, it's in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, I think it's called, where the plane crashed. And this is kind of a funny.
Sean?
This is kind of a funny
I said it was
story
gonna
that,
happen.
Go.
So this is a kind of funny story. So this woman was driving, and she saw a small white like fighter jet flying in the same direction as the plane in Pennsylvania,
Close the door.
like the same direction. And they said no one shot the planes, but she saw this jet flying right in the direction of the plane, like a small fighter jet.
Well, the fighter jets were there because they had already known about the planes hitting the World Trade Center, so they scrambled the
Shut up,
jets.
military boy.
No,
Don't
so
speak.
there was a plane flying towards the plane because it got shot down. The theory is that people took over the plane and crashed in the field, but
Yeah.
this woman saw the fighter jet and she thinks they shot the plane down before it could hit anyone. It fell down in a field. And when this woman went to go tell the police that, the police were like, "Oh, you probably mistaken. You didn't see that." And she goes, like, "Don't be condescending towards me. I know what I saw. I saw a white fighter jet flying in the same direction as the plane, and you better find out if it was one of ours or like another country's." And the guy goes, let's see what he said. What was it? He
I
said,
believe that.
no, he said it was just a drone taking pictures of the site, of like the site. And
I would
she-
believe we sent a fighter.
Well,
jet.
because if say it was the fighter jet that really took the plane down, then it's the military that's at fault for all these lives.
Well, no, because it would be.
It's
No,
a
they
matter
shot
of
the
national
plane
defense.
It
down.
would be the cost.
Yeah,
Of what if that plane went into another building?
yeah.
They shot
Those
down the
lives
field.
would come down on the military. I
Yeah.
feel like.
But
It's
say
either
like
200 lives or 1,000 lives. As
yeah,
bad
but
as that
so
sounds.
so the theory that we all believe is that it was the passengers that brought the plane
Yeah.
down. But if say it was the military who brought the plane down, then all of the family members of those passengers could come after the military.
That's true.
That's true. So they think, so that's why they maybe didn't say they shot it down. But when when the cop said, "Oh, it was just a drone taking pictures of the site," she goes, "This was before the plane even crashed because I saw the plane actually crash." And she goes, "How would it know that the plane was going to crash and they were going to take and they already had a drone in the air taking pictures?" And the cop was like, "Oh, I got to go," and they hurry up and left and stopped talking to her. This is what this witness testimony said, which I think is very shady. That the cop left because she was calling it out. And then there's another guy that drove. He worked at a company.
There's
he
a
drove,
movie on that plane,
Is
isn't
it?
there?
I think there is. He drove to the site with a bunch of his workers. He drove to the site and he looked up and saw the fighter jet. And he said the fighter jet flew in the sun, so he couldn't identify it. And then it was gone. And he said like he was there on ground zero before anyone else in Pennsylvania, and like trying to save people, but obviously they're all dead. But like he said that he saw the fighter jet and it just flew in the sun. Is that like a thing, Luke? Like it flew towards the sun, so you couldn't identify it.
Makes sense.
That makes sense. Right? I thought it's like a thing that like they do, but like that's what this guy said that the plane did, so you couldn't identify what it was.
I mean, you'd have to
There
know.
would be a glare off of it.
You'd have to know the target on the ground to get that angle, which you could do.
Well, like the guy saw the plane crash in the field, and he
Uh-huh.
like got on like their little like John Deere's or whatever, and they rode to the site to try to save people. and
Big old truck.
not tractors, you get like the gators, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he said he looked up and saw another plane in the air
Uh-huh.
right by the site, flying in the sun, so he couldn't identify it. That's what he said.
It very well could have been the military. The
That shot
military
down.
could have also
They-
tapped into the plane, right?
Well,
And warned them. If you
yeah.
don't stop or.
Well, I know that technology exists now, and if we know about it now, then it probably already
Yeah.
existed
Yeah, a lot
then.
of plane technology though came after.
They said that the Air Force was ready to go,
They did scramble
and they
jets.
were ready to go and ready to take down the planes, but they never did.
They,
Was it just too close to New York that they're like, we can't do this and take it down? You think, Luke?
Well, jets were scrambled, and
yeah,
they were
ready to go and take the planes down.
so.
They never.
They don't want
did,
to. They don't want to have the military be at fault. So they just.
so you think they keep that under wraps?
Yeah.
though. All right.
I
So-
believe that cause though.
Yeah.
I believe that one.
Yeah.
That it could be a military jet, and he could have been under order to save as many lives as possible. We don't know what that plane's gonna do.
Yeah.
And he do you think he could have somehow communicated to them?
Well, they have. I mean, there's technology now that exists where you can, drop it onto the plane, and it, takes over the hardware. But at the same time, all that can really do is shut the plane down, where you still have the manual controls inside the plane.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Okay.
but do you think he could have been stop, go back on track?
But
If you're the pilot, go back on track.
but these are terrorists. Do,
And it's not
do
the
they speak
pilot.
English?
Right. But he could have said that before he used force
Yeah.
to bring the plane
Yeah.
down.
He probably did.
I mean, he probably just followed protocol. If you can't
Yeah.
get through to him, take it down.
Take it down. Saves many lives right in the field.
Yeah, I mean,
That'd be pretty
where was
impressive.
it going for?
Probably.
I think it was
I
going
thought
towards
it was
the White
Chicago.
House.
It was going
White
for the
House?
White House.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be very
It
impressive.
was
Yeah,
Made
it's
that
like the
plane
passengers.
land in a
east.
field.
Or, yeah,
It
the
was in
passengers
Pennsylvania.
took it down into a field. That'd be impressive. And that's just crazy that they just thought we're gonna sacrifice our lives and we're gonna take this down before they can crash.
I don't think it was
another plane.
passengers. I think it was hijackers that took control of the
Well,
plane.
no. The theory is that the passengers took control. Reed took control of the plane, and they took it down to save more lives. There's a book about it called "Let's Roll," because supposedly the people were making calls out, and the 9/11 report said that you couldn't make calls. The altitude was too high or whatever. But people were making calls to family members.
Well,
They think those are fake.
Well, the planes weren't. They never got that high.
Yeah, they
really.
weren't that high. They were close to
They
the
didn't.
ground.
The one.
No, the 9/11 Commission report said whatever the altitude was, when the supposed calls were out, at the times, they said the altitude was too high and they couldn't make the calls.
I mean, they could be telling you that, but
Yeah, I'm just
if
saying
it,
what the 9/11
if it takes
Commission
off
report
at was it at Baltimore that it took off from?
Yeah,
It's not going to be. It's not going to be at 30,000 feet by the time it flies over New York City.
Well, I don't think they hijacked it right away. They probably were in the air, and then they hijacked it, and then they knew
They did
it was
hijack
it.
Yeah.
So then
They
probably tried
hijacked
to
it, and then
call.
the passengers tried to break into the cockpit.
Yeah.
And I think when they did finally get into the cockpit, it was too late.
No, the
They were
Pennsylvania
going
one for
down.
sure. That's the theory is that the passengers retook it and crashed, but then other people think that they shot it down, the mysterious fighter jet.
I mean,
believe it got shot down.
if they
100%.
did take it down, it was probably more of a let's do what we can to mess up the terrorists flying the plane.
Yeah.
So they probably weren't able to because you've heard that story about the pilot who dies in the cockpit and then the dad that steps up and lands the plane.
Yeah.
So probably wasn't that situation.
Yeah.
They're probably just
So-
throwing the throttle down.
Yeah, and that's just crazy. If it didn't get shot down, the passengers just did that, that'd be crazy.
Luke, you ever pass out from G-force yet?
I've not been in a fighter jet before.
You haven't?
No.
Not even a simulation?
Well, not one that simulates G's.
Could a plane that big, reach high G's?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Boeing or whatever you call
you
it?
can.
Probably force.
Boeing.
You can.
Boeing.
Well, you can. There's this program that takes planes, like a Boeing 787 whatever, and they'll go up, and then they'll they'll go at a decline at at just right angles so that the G's is 0, and so you're constantly declining, so there's 0 gravity inside the plane. And then on the upswing, it's
Yeah,
upswing.
they're
So it goes back up, and then it's we're at 2 G's, but then it goes and then it comes back down, and it's at a constant descent. So there's no G's inside the plane.
Yeah, that's cool.
So do you think a Boeing can hit 5, 6, 7 G's? Do
Boeing.
you think you could turn that hard in that big of a plane?
You probably get more G's because it's so
You-
big, wouldn't you think?
No.
No, I mean
I don't think they turn
No?
it.
it would hit.
Why wouldn't they make that?
If you
I
take
don't
one
know.
of those big ass
Huge.
planes and you turn as hard as you can,
G's is just
you think you could touch 5,
Well, the
6?
problem is with turns is that you have to take the pitch over, and then
Stop with the technical bullshit,
you
Luke.
don't just turn a plane. You bank it, and then
I've had enough.
turn.
What if you
I
just
think
pull?
I've had enough.
So that would just go straight up.
Yeah, but you're still getting G's on that.
What are we asking? What are we trying to accomplish?
All right,
about
can we get back okay, let's get back to the World Trade
Nick's
Center.
talking about a
Luke's in it.
point.
You've got one last part of this.
No, I know. I got the World Trade Center. So the World
We're
Trade
fine.
Center. Yeah, we're good. So the World Trade Center. They said that when the planes crashed, that. So the people in the bottom floor of the World Trade Centers, the Twin Towers, they said that a ball of fire came down from the elevator, and then all of the windows just burst out in the bottom when the planes hit.
Really?
And they said, how is that possible when the planes hit above the 78th floor?
Well, wasn't there something, I read this was a while ago, but wasn't there like a guy in a truck that put a bombs
In the parking garage underneath.
in the parking garage underneath, I think.
Supposedly.
But it
That's,
never
the,
went off.
that's the
Never went
theory.
off.
No? Okay. I thought that went off.
Yeah, well, so,
I heard that there were bombs in them.
yeah, so they think they.
And action.
All right, so back to the passport thing.
Yeah.
That so basically, the conspiracy theorists say the government could have paid off or stole the passports from these terrorists to frame them for these attacks. And then with the news, so on the live news, there was no airplane coming into the site, and the woman narrating it didn't announce that the plane hit until after the impact. And then in the evening news, the same camera angle, the same shot, you could see the airplane coming and hitting the building. But when they go back to the live news, there's no airplane in sights. And you'd think in the same camera angle, you'd be able to see the airplane coming in
It was fucking
and hitting
weird.
the building.
So what he's saying from this
Yeah.
is that there was like bombs placed.
In the building.
But do you think there would also be bombs on the bottom floors to weaken the structure there? Is that what you're
100%.
saying about the bottom floor?
Yeah,
windows?
collapse from the bottom vertically straight down. When a plane hits a
That's
building,
messed up.
yeah.
A building doesn't fall into its foundation just because a plane hit the 78th
Yeah.
floor.
How many floors were above 78?
I think there was like
It was like 104.
yeah, there was
Yeah,
like 104.
Because I mean, it is heavier, so you could argue that the weight of the
Oh, it's
upper
heavy,
portion-
yes, but the building would be weak from that floor up. It would
Yeah.
be weak
So
from
then,
the core.
okay, imagine these steel beams burnt or whatever,
Melted.
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 They melted, disintegrated. Then it would make sense, I guess, because like the weight could fall on top and just squish it all. That's kind of what happened. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
could
if you
see
watch
that.
it, it like comes down into itself.
Yes, but I don't think
it makes sense
I
that
don't
it
think
should
the
fall
top
over.
Yeah.
would come straight down when one side's weak. I think it would still collapse.
That
down
makes
into
Yeah,
sense.
one
so if there's a
side.
hole on one side, don't you think it would fall?
It-
Yeah,
that
like
might
if you
make
cut down a
sense.
tree, if you take
Yeah.
if you take
Exactly.
a chainsaw to a tree and notch out one side, you can push it over to that side.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying, like in theory.
If it
Well, I
went
don't
straight
think-
through the
I think
middle,
it
I
would
could
go-
see that.
I think it
but
would go
didn't.
to the
Yeah,
crack
you're right.
because that's
Yeah.
the weak, so that would collapse in. And
But okay, assuming there were planes that hit it, they're gonna hit it at what 250, 300 miles an hour.
Yeah, there's definitely one plane that hit it.
Like
They're talking about
so
the other one.
That shit's probably gonna go deep enough to, like, into the building, to make like that entire floor
how long's the wing?
fucked up.
They said it would be 125 feet from one wing to the other.
So it's like 60 some feet.
A wing is 60.
Yeah. So,
Not even because then the
Yeah.
cockpit's
Good math.
probably 20 feet,
Yeah.
if that.
So, that's the craziest part when they do the side by side of the two buildings, and of one controlled demolition, one of 9/11, and they fall the exact same way. And I'm with Nick. If the plane hit like the side of the building, like let's say just this the building hit like right there, you'd think it would fall like that,
Do you think instantly?
not like this. No, not instantly. But that's another thing.
Because it took a second to get hot. That's why.
They said it happened within like 10 seconds that the
Don't you think
buildings
it would
like
come
eventually
down onto
collapsed
that corner?
after the second plane hit.
Was it really?
It was that quick, they said, and they said like the fires wouldn't happen that quick if it was from just the fires of the plane hitting.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I think there was bombs so it happened that quick that it fell that way. Because they're like those fires from one plane, it wouldn't
That
like
would
just
blow, yeah.
like that fast in those 10 seconds collapse like that.
Do you know where the other plane hit on the other building?
What do you mean, like the south side or
Lower.
South.
I think it was lower.
Yeah.
It was lower.
It was lower. So,
So
then
you're
people,
talking about the north building or whatever.
so,
Whatever
I
the
don't even
second
know
one
that stuff.
was.
so people, so it could have been Al Qaeda, but some people think like obviously it was a government inside job and they stole those passports from the Al Qaeda members.
So if it was the government, why would they do that? I mean, the one thing I was just thinking is maybe because we got ourselves in a bad oil war.
That's
War.
a big thing
So
about the
then
Afghan oil war.
They'd be trying to end it, but do you? I mean, that kind of is like, man, that's really like immoral.
God, it's
You,
the first
is.
good
You
thing
fly-
Sean said in 2 episodes.
you fly a plane into your own building because you want to stop a war.
No, well, I
without people
think
getting too upset.
no, I think the thing was because that was before we went into the Middle East. They think that we were trying to get land to like get oil off of and profit off of it, but like those Middle Eastern countries wouldn't let us
Without going to war.
without going to war. So we used the 9/11 attacks and we framed Al Qaeda so that we can go to war with Al Qaeda and say we're getting back at them for this, and then we can take the land and beat Al Qaeda, and then we can have those oil rigs and those oil fields and profit off those oil fields.
Yeah, I mean,
That's that's why they said the government would do it. And there's national unification of everyone coming together.
that part worked. If that
Yeah.
was like their goal, I mean, that part worked. They got away with going
Yeah.
to war. If you're gonna say that, I mean, there's already tension before. I don't know.
No,
that,
but the big thing is like the national unification was like a small part. That's what happened, and then the that gave us an excuse to go to war with Al Qaeda
Yeah.
for oil. Because if we said we're just going to war with Al Qaeda,
because everything's
'cause.
about money.
exactly,
Yeah.
100%. It is. Because if they said we're just going to war with Al Qaeda, people would be like,
No,
no,
they'd get
for
pissed.
oil, they'd be like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
there'd be backlash. So that's my conspiracy theory. 9/11.
Weird shit.
It's very weird. If you look up the videos, you go down this rabbit hole. It's
So it
crazy.
took a while to go down.
Yeah. Well, when did you do it? Sitting in here? Or did you do it in
No, I
class?
didn't sitting in here.
Okay.
It was crazy. All the videos you can look up and see. And
Yeah.
so,
All right, Nicholas.
all right, Nicholas. JFK.
Oh,
Yep.
this is his bread and butter.
Yep.
JFK. Was the mob involved with JFK? Okay. You guys
First
have an
take. What's
answer?
your first take on that?
First take, yeah, 100%. 100% JFK was killed because of the mob.
Okay.
I think the mob was involved, actually, and the government was also corrupt with the mob. So I think both of them together. Because, what was his name?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, that dude didn't come out of nowhere. What was he, a sniper? A Russian sniper or something?
Yeah, he was some sort of military figure.
And there's
Naz or
I
something?
did see something about a fake name before and how all the names meant something historically about assassinations. I don't remember what it was, so I can't give you the story, but it was something like that. Lee was
He was
the
a
general.
former U.S. Marine.
Yeah, and like
Oh.
Lee is a historic general in the Civil War, and it, like
Well,
all that shit.
didn't they say that he was a foreign sniper?
Wait, I remember.
They said he was a foreign marksman.
He was
killed
honorably released.
Who killed Lincoln? What was his name?
Oh.
John Wilkes
Wilkes
Booth.
John
No,
Wilkes Booth.
that's the historical thing. Is John
Was it?
Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Never
with
mind.
Lincoln, now with Kennedy.
Never mind.
Okay, but so story starts. Okay, so if you want to watch an interesting interview, his name is Michael Franzese. He was ex-mobster. He's one of 6 mob fathers or whatever you call him.
Yeah, I know him.
He was the only one to make it out of the mob alive, because once you're in for life, basically. So he went on an interview, was talking about this, and so JFK's dad was a bootlegger. I hope everyone knows what a bootlegger is.
Yeah.
So he's a bootlegger, and in that day and age, in that era, you're not a bootlegger doing anything illegal if you're not involved with the mob in any sort of manner. So he had mob ties, and then JFK, the mob wanted JFK in office because of their connection with his father. So I think
South.
Louisiana, the Louisiana mob.
Yep.
Yeah, I was forgetting the city. So the Louisiana mob and the Chicago
Louisiana's
mob,
the
and
state.
also the New York.
New Orleans?
Is it?
You mean New
Oh,
Orleans?
New Orleans, yeah.
New Orleans mob.
Okay, all right.
The
Enjoy
Boeing.
the
The
geography.
Louisiana,
Boeing.
you know, that city in
God,
Louisiana.
shut up, Sean. I'm talking. You don't talk when I'm talking. You raise your hand
I
and
do
talk
what I
to me.
want.
I'm your master.
All right, let's
I
get
do
it
what I
going
want.
here.
Okay, so
No.
they
better
all
zoom in on
rigged
that.
votes. They rigged votes to get him into office, and then right when he did get elected, him and his father wanted to kind of separate from the mob and go more political for the country, and the mob did not like that whatsoever, because the mob still needed him in the White House to have connections, and so I think they got Lee Harvey Oswald out of nowhere.
Jack
And
Ruby killed.
Hey,
but so the other conspiracy theory is
Justin?
I have a question. It said Lee Harvey Oswald was discharged from the U.S. military, right? He was a Marine.
Honorably discharged. Is what
Oh, he's honorably discharged. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
okay. So, anyways, the whole idea of do you guys know the theory of one shooter or 2 shooters?
Yes.
And how the bullet. So I guess a bullet from where the first shot was, the bullet couldn't possibly go through his neck and the girl's hand in front of him or something like that. Isn't that the case?
I've seen that on TV.
Or go through her leg or front leg. And I guess like that's
Grassy
all.
knoll.
Yeah. I don't know what I believe with all that. I didn't really
That's crazy.
research that shit.
What was it? The bookstore, and then the grassy knoll.
What do you mean?
Is that where
Two
the
shooters?
yeah?
the
was
one
Dallas
behind the
bookstore.
fence or something?
Yeah, and the grassy knoll, and then the Dallas bookstore. Was that where it was the bookstore?
I think so,
Where the other shooter was, apparently.
Well, and also I guess there was another guy that had an umbrella on a perfectly sunny day, and some people like he showed up right when the car started moving, and right when he was shot, the umbrella went down, and the dude like just left and disappeared.
Well, people do bring umbrellas on sunny days though to block out the sun.
I believe that 100%. But
Yeah.
why would he then take the umbrella down?
That's true.
Right after the shot.
So he was
dead.
blocking. So he was blocking the gun. You think when he took the umbrella down, that's when they took the shot? So he was
No,
like,
it
yeah,
probably
alright.
means like alive, and then when you put it down,
something.
dead. Because
Or
like
he had a
You could
gun.
hide a
Like
gun
the
in
signal?
an umbrella that you closed.
Yeah, he could have a gun in there.
You could
Yeah.
put it up, close the umbrella. It's in there.
Yeah, and you can't tell. And it was back in the what was it, late '60s?
Yeah, there's no camera.
Yeah,
or
there's
anything.
there was
Not really that
not
much
many
security,
cameras
too.
or security.
Secret Service probably was not as advanced
Definitely
as
not.
this.
Yeah.
And also, there was a phone call. Someone called JFK to not go there, that it was unsafe. And he
Yeah,
was
I remember
informed by the mob or something, or just the government that
Probably the
don't
government, not
worry.
the mob.
Yeah, don't worry, everything will be fine.
Wait, I have a question though. You said the mob wanted JFK to win, so because they had ties to his dad.
Yes, so,
So
that
then
they
why
had
would they-
influence. They
Then
had-
why would they kill him?
once they're
because
done using
once
it.
he got in office, he wanted to push away from the mob and go more
Oh, so they didn't like
political.
that.
They did not like that.
So they
Because
could
they
put
needed-
someone else
yeah.
in. Okay.
And they also had connections with his vice.
Really?
So then he came up, yeah.
Was that
That whole era was corrupt with the mob.
who was this?
Wait, so who warned him?
I don't know.
Oh, it
I
was
think
LBJ.
a friend
LBJ.
or something.
LBJ.
I think it was like a friend or
Who were they with?
someone warned him not to go. Or
Probably
someone
in
warned
the
him
mob.
that area was not heavily protected.
It's probably the mob. Probably someone felt bad in the mob.
I don't think that
The mob, a lot of
happens.
people
I don't
feel
think
bad.
I
if
felt
someone
bad.
found out that you informed him that something's gonna happen,
well,
you're dead.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, it's movie shit. But someone at the last minute's like, "Oh, I don't like this at all," and then they let them know, like, "Hey, we're planning this against you," but you don't say who.
well, this one says a British newspaper got a call 25 minutes before the assassination. And they said there was another call. So big news. Oh, okay. New details about an entirely separate call halfway across the world, which seemingly tipped off the news service about some big news that was about to occur in the United States. 25 minutes before the assassination.
And that part where he was assassinated was not protected by security whatsoever.
Really?
They just left that.
So they
as a
knew the
blank
whole-
spot.
They knew the whole schedule of like Kennedy.
Yes.
So
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they knew everything.
With anything like that,
His
whether it's
route
9/11
was posted.
attack,
Was it?
Yeah.
What was it? Houston?
It was Dallas, I think.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah. His whole car route was posted beforehand.
they do that. They do that nowadays, so people can line the streets.
Yeah,
and
but
be,
nowadays
"Ooh."
you have 20 snipers on
Pulling
every
windows.
building.
They look at every angle.
Yeah, there's nothing
Yeah.
that's not seen. I mean, I went to the World Series in 2016, and I was pretty high up one of the games, and there were snipers on top of the garage with binoculars watching every single person walk in, every single person in the crowd.
That was right at the time of all the shit in Europe, right?
I
All
don't
the
know.
attacks in France
Yeah.
and Germany.
I don't know.
I mean,
but
it
they
hasn't
were
stopped.
fucking-
Yeah, true. But
They were all blacked out. You couldn't really see them unless you're
Yeah.
close.
yeah.
All right.
Nowadays, security is so insane.
Yeah. It is.
Conspiracy theory closed. The mob killed JFK.
Well, I have a question. Didn't Trump release a bunch of those documents? Like, never before seen documents?
Well, it's
They were
always
forced to.
it's
like
50
75
years later,
Yeah, 50
Yeah.
years.
which makes
Yeah.
sense.
And he they
You're
released
forced
a bunch
the
of them.
government's forced to.
because they
Yeah.
cleared out every.
But he
time-
didn't.
Every time
The government could easily say, "Oh yeah, we released everything," but like his
Yeah.
brain. How did you just lose his brain? The brain was in the plane when the plane took
Yeah.
off, and then it was gone.
Whose brain?
JFK's
JFK's.
brain was sent to a lab, but the plane took off with the brain and landed without the brain.
Obviously, you
So
got.
what happened
They
with
just
the
threw it
brain?
off the plane, probably.
It ejected it.
It's a smart. It's a smart.
I mean,
brain.
that would have told everything.
He's
That
the
would've told where
president.
the
He's
shooter
smart.
was.
What do you expect?
Yep.
That would have told what gun the shooter was using.
That's crazy. That you gotta think they have someone on the inside then. Whoever killed them, the mob.
Yes.
They have someone on the
You
inside
can't do it
that
without
gets on
help
that
anyway.
plane.
Well, I think the government was tied to the mob also.
Oh,
they,
yeah.
They probably have the brain.
Yeah.
It's a trophy.
Ski, what do you got?
All right. So my conspiracy theory is that the moon landing never actually happened.
Wait, can you give a little background on your family though, with connected to the moon landing before you go into this?
Unfortunately, it kind of goes against my family history,
Nazis.
considering my great-grandpa was a German scientist who came over to the United States and worked on the rocket that went to the moon. But my
That didn't happen.
guess
though.
it didn't happen. So yep, you got no family history. So the first one is basically like background information. What the conspiracists. That's not a word, is it? I think it is.
Conspiracy theory.
But the
Shut up
plane
and
went
talk.
up. The plane went up with like all the astronauts, and then what
The shuttle?
I think is that it just orbited the Earth for 8 days while they did like the rest of like actually landing on the moon in Area 51, and they just played that on like the live screens while the astronauts were just orbiting, and then they came back down.
So
that's
they had
what-
the power to go up into space and orbit the
Yeah.
Earth, but they couldn't get to the moon.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, Tweedledee and
There's-
Tweedledum.
there's a bunch of satellites that were already up from like different
Yeah.
countries and stuff. Well, basically, why this was like so important is like it was like right during the Cold War,
Yes.
and it was like a race between us and Russia to get there first.
Yep.
But like
Sputnik.
Russia had like gotten all the like opportunities first to get there, but we just needed to get there, so that's why they think it was fake that we couldn't actually get there.
Yeah.
So the first thing is there's like no wind or anything on the moon, and like in the live video of it, the flag was like waving around.
I thought there could be.
No,
one.
so the flag, so it had a horizontal pole on it, so that's why it's straight down.
Yeah.
And they had just
We're
put it
getting
in,
there.
huh?
We're getting there.
The camera.
Sorry.
Careful.
Anyway, but they put it in, and so since there's no wind resistance on the moon, it doesn't really stop swing. It's like a pendulum, but there's no drag in the air to stop the flag. from
Gravity,
So
swinging.
I have a question for you,
Correct.
and well, anyone that could answer really. How does the rocket steer itself once it's out of fuel?
It's all propulsion against the Earth. So like, you're using previous gravity, like not previous gravity, but you're using the way rockets get up there is they push up against the Earth, and then once they get to
Using
the
the
point,
fuel though.
yeah,
And once you're out of fuel, how the fuck do you steer?
Or once you're in space,
There's-
there's nothing
Yeah.
to.
How do you steer? You just see
you're
them
using
floating.
the Earth's rotation. That's how you steer.
Yeah.
Except like
you
when
go
they
out of
shoot,
orbit.
when they go to Mars, they shoot up, and I believe they go around the moon, and they do like a lap around the moon, and then they propel themselves using gas.
They use
but
orbits
they're using orbits. That's how
They still have fuel.
to travel.
Yes, they have fuel, but like
Don't they have
when you're
enough fuel
out
the
there,
whole
you
time?
just don't see anything.
But
You just see them
that's-
floating. But
why
how
do you
are
think
they
they get-
steering with nothing?
Because they're not steering. Most of the time, they're not going to steer. They use fuel to steer. When they're all that shit is calculated. So you're going up, and literally, like I would imagine, it's probably to the foot. You know, you got to stay on track because if you get off track, then you're wasting fuel, which could, in the end, you know, you only have a limited amount of fuel, that type of thing. It's all rotation and gravity.
And then another thing was kind of like some scientists agree, sometimes scientists don't. Like there's no water on the moon, but there's like a footprint that went like all the footprints that are on the moon. And a lot of scientists don't think that's like the dust is like packed heavy enough. It's not dense enough to like actually have a footprint.
Yeah.
inside
That's
of
still
it.
there today.
They all all the.
So
footprints
do you
are still there.
think China? Macari just mentioned it earlier today. China landed on the dark side of the moon. You think that's fake? Do you think anyone has actually landed on the moon yet?
I don't know. I think
If that's for anyone.
You actually don't know. You don't.
I don't know. I think they have.
I think they have.
Do you,
It's
you
a
think
good
they have or
conspiracy theory, but I think
I don't know about China.
have- No, America. Do you think?
Yeah, I think they landed on.
When you kind of have to.
Yes.
What about this whole living on Mars?
No, it's
You don't
not
think it's
happening.
possible?
It's not happening.
Never
I think it's
ever.
possible.
I don't.
Isn't there
Just-
water?
Yeah, there's water.
There's ice.
Yeah.
You have to melt ice, and then you have water.
Well, no shit, Sherlock.
There's ice, so there is
You
water.
just suck on the ice until it melts.
I'm thirsty.
They're just big icicles.
All right, what else you got?
Basically, also in the background, they think that there's no stars in the background of anything that's filmed. Some things, because it was like too bright on like the surface because of like the lights they had and like light pollution and stuff like that. But that it can go either way again. Some scientists think, and then also, what else?
So the moon's just a big barren wasteland. That's why they think that there's just so much. They've
And
never
it's
had
also
light
similar.
before.
A lot of the things that they found on the moon is similar to like things like in the Nevada desert, like where Area 51 is, like very similar
What the fuck?
landscapes, like very like similar. There's like pictures side by side, like craters on the moon and craters, or like crater from the moon and crater like in the Nevada desert, and they're like identical.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, those craters in the Nevada desert are also from bomb testing.
Okay.
And also, it's like the moon temperature is like 280 degrees, so like the film.
What are you laughing at?
You have to.
They don't know if
They're like, all right. We have a picture of the moon. We need to use a bomb to perfectly replicate a crater from the moon.
Exactly.
For a
Those are
fake
from-
moon landing.
They're bomb testing. I'm not saying like.
It was just
That's
a
why
tidbit
there
you
are
wanted to add.
craters there.
Thank you.
And it's 280 degrees on the moon, and a lot of scientists don't think they have
God,
the
fuck
technology.
you, Sean.
I'm just saying. That's
Okay,
funny.
who cares? Go
Such an
ahead,
ass.
Ski. Who cares?
Why is he on this podcast?
Because you want me here.
He's
I'd rather be playing
technically he's
Fortnite
our
right now.
roommate, so we kind of have to.
All right, go ahead.
But no one thinks they have the technology because it was 280 degrees on the moon that the film would have stayed intact during that time
It was 280 degrees.
on the moon's surface. Yes. So
Don't their suits like cool them down though?
Yes, I
Yeah.
mean their suits do,
Heavily
but
The
it's a
film,
lot different to
not the suit.
keep the
Okay,
film because they
so-
recorded the whole thing. To keep the film is a lot more like precious than
Yeah.
a suit.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Interesting.
Is there anything else anyone wants to add about anything? Any news or anything?
Sean's
We're
gone.
about
Sean's done.
we're about 50 minutes now, so we're gonna wrap this up.
Sean's done.
Any closing
This is
thoughts, anyone?
Sean's last episode.
Okay.
You're
yeah, everyone say goodbye.
Fine.
All right.
He's gonna be gone.
Get him out of
He's
here.
done. He's done.
You're fired. All right. The first pod YouTube video is gonna be up soon once our cameraman finishes editing it and gets the watermark out of there.
It'll be
Yeah, by the time you see this, you better see it.
Yeah, I hope so. So on that, like and subscribe, comment on it, and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify when that goes up with the audio. It's uploading now. All right, we'll be uploaded by the time you watch this. So thank you guys and good night.